What's up, chat? I'm back. Like I said, I was gonna be back again today. We're grinding these days out. I'm not gonna miss a day this month. How about that? For the rest of no, from this month, no, today, a month out. Does that make sense? Starting today for a month, I'm not gonna miss a day. Even on the trip, I already told them I'm gonna stream on the trip. And also, apart from streaming, well, I don't know. I'm either gonna record or I'm gonna stream. But I do want to do like at the end of the day, for sure, like a stream, like a little stream where I like touch base with you guys. Um, Streaming on the trip would be really fun though. It would be really fun. It's dangerous though. It's dangerous. I think it's dangerous to do that, just like out in the streets and stuff. But that would be content. That would be content. Ooh, my armpit's kind of stinking. But yeah, guys, I hope you guys are having a good ass day today. I sure am. I fell asleep the whole goddamn day. I was tired as fuck. Not really sure why. Not really sure why I was so tired, but man, I was knocked out. I was knocked out. Miracle went to she went for a waxing appointment or some shit. And she asked me if I wanted to go. I was like, nah, like I'll just stay here. So yeah, I pretty much just stayed here. And then she came back and I was still sleeping and she was like she stayed for like maybe like an hour, right? Like an hour. Then she was like, my body hurts or something. I'm gonna go to McDonald's. Actually no, she said she didn't. Did you tell me where you were gonna go? I don't think so, right? You were just told me that you did.
Yeah, it's because downstairs, like laying down with you, you're like hot and sweaty.
Mm-hmm.
So since I just got waxed, it was stinging because it was.
Oh.
Right, I can't stay down here and it's sunny and beautiful outside.
So yeah, she basically left like right like an hour after staying with, laying back down. Because you know she said I was stinging her or whatever, so she went to McDonald's. Then she came back. She brought me McDonald's and coffee. And I slept for like 2-3 hours. And I just woke up dead ass maybe like an hour ago. I dead ass just woke up. But yeah, guys, I hope you guys, like I said, had a good ass day. It is Saturday. And man, the days are beautiful, bro. The days are beautiful. If you guys are the type of people to stay inside, man, don't stay inside, bro. Don't stay inside. Make an effort to go outside. Find something to do outside. There has to be there's hella things that you could do. You could go to a park. Maybe walk around the park. That's what I like doing. When I have nothing like planned out for the day, like if I'm not going somewhere like to the beach or to the creek or whatever you want to call it, if you're like not visiting somewhere, I like to walk around the park or go read at the park, because at least you're getting some sun and you're getting some movement. And I don't know if you guys be going to the gym. I like going to the gym as well. I like going to the gym, but the gym does not compare to actually being out in the sun. So yeah, you guys gotta make sure you get some sunlight in. Here, let me post the Discord on the YouTube. Make sure to get some sun in, because that will make you feel a lot better, man. It will make you feel a lot better. If you guys have problems, man, go reflect on it in the sun. It'll help. It'll help a lot. As for today we have a couple things as usual. Oh, I forgot. So yesterday, last night. So what usually happens, right, is I'm reading at the park. And then when I come back, I usually Goimax. Let's just put it like that. I usually Goimax, and I'm usually just like on my phone, you know, watching some things, editing, like different things, right? different things. Um, and then when I really, really, really like lock in, is usually when I'm at work and when I'm reading at the park, right? Either of those. Sometimes it really just depends, right? Because sometimes I'll be locking in when I'm at home. Sometimes I'll be locking in when I'm at the park. Sometimes I go for a walk and I go lock in at a restaurant, whatever the case may be. But yesterday I was watching this video by Richard Rausch. I think it's Richard Rausch or Richard Rausch, an American esoteric. Which thank you to Zerka because he posted the picture. I think he retweeted someone on Twitter, and I saw it, and I was like, "Damn!" I remember watching Richard Rausch, and then I just stopped. I just stopped watching him. I guess I think the reason was because he was reading a Beelzebub's tale, and I didn't know about that shit. For some reason, I thought it wasn't like important, so I just like. To me, I don't know. I guess I found it boring and I unsubscribed. But Zerka reminded me that Richard Rausch is actually a really good he's a really good source of knowledge for these esoteric / occult things. So I followed him again, and I decided to watch the video that Zerka retweeted or what do you call it? Yeah, whatever. He retweeted. He quote tweeted it. Which was ranking. It was like a tournament style, like ranking of famous occultists and famous esotericists. I guess occultists, right? Occultists. You could use that exchangeably. I don't know. Yeah, and the video was really good. It was really, really, really good. Because along with like them giving their own opinion and their own reasons of why the occultist was, more important or more influential, or why he would beat this other one, and why he would move on, they would also give like a very good description, right? For most of them. For the other ones, like the more like the ones that you already should know. They don't, right? So for like Hermes and for like Jesus, they do go into the more like occult kind of like knowledge for them, like a little bit, but like not really for the more known ones. But man, it was good. It was good. If you guys don't know a lot of occultists and you want to get into the occult and esoteric knowledge, then that's something that video is something to look into, because they give a ton, many books, probably like one or two for each of the, well, if they wrote a book. Yeah, there's a couple good books in there, and then there's a couple good people that that you could look into, and I feel like these are like some of the most like known ones, and it's where you should start. So yeah, shout out Zerka. For reminding me of Richard. This guy right here. Richard Rausch. Really good, man. Really good. And also, it reminded me, bro, why I liked Richard in the first place. 'Cause he's funny. He's a funny ass dude. He makes funny, esoteric, occult content, bro. He makes good, funny, occult content. It's funny. So yeah, if you guys wanna intro to that, go check out Richard Rausch. Maybe check out there's a couple things. Occult orders, esoteric cults, whatever, man. Just start clicking around, watch it. If it interests you, you're gonna dive deeper. And the video was with American Esoteric, like I said. I'm not really that much of a American Esoteric watcher, but as you can see, man, look at this. He has hella knowledge on here too. Also, this is a really good wait, is this that one girl? That I think this might be the most famous. Here, let me look it up. Sasha. The most famous, or not most famous, the most subscribed like occult or occult YouTube channel. If I'm thinking about it correctly. Oh no, it's someone else. Who the fuck is this then? British Greek cultural historian, author, and lecturer. Her work explores Greek and something. Hermetic studies, massage and bodywork magazine. Sasha. Oh, yeah, no, I'm thinking of someone else. I was watching a video by that girl yesterday. She was talking about Levy, I think. No, not Levy. The other one. I don't know. I really don't remember much about it. I didn't watch it all the way through. But yeah, guys, that's what I was getting into yesterday, and it was a really good video. And towards the end of the night, I was taking a little bit of notes on it. Here, let's see my notes on it. Wait, where's this shit at? See my notes on it, because I did take some notes. Yeah, see. It was on Eliphas Levy, because what I was trying to do for the tournament style like thing, I was trying to take notes for each of them, but then they would like say a name, and then if I didn't know the name, I would go watch a video on the name, and then I would take notes. But man, that got so overwhelming so quick. So yeah, they were talking about Eliphas Levy. That was the first one. Franz Barden. That was the second one. Yeah, really interesting stories, man. Really interesting stories, which is one of the reasons why I like learning about these things, is because these are not they're not normal people. Like the way that their stories go, it's not normal, bro. It's not normal. And it's like kind of whose story is normal. I guess a lot of people do have like normal stories, but these people have interesting ass stories. Like kind of crazy. I'm talking about how I was watching a video yesterday by... Wait, where is it? I was watching a video by Richard. I'm going to give you the full context. I was watching this video by Richard Rosh, which he's like an occult esoteric YouTuber. And it was an occult tournament. And every time that they would talk about someone that I didn't know about, I would try writing notes. But it got overwhelming, like really overwhelming, really quick, because they would talk about the person and they wouldn't really go into like major detail. So then I would watch a video on the person and I would try to take notes. But I was just saying how in general, a lot of these, why I like learning about like these occult and esoteric like followers, I guess, it's because they have really, really, really interesting stories. Like this guy Eliphas Levy, yeah, bro, man, it's just crazy. It's just crazy because it has to do with like religion and stuff. And then, you know, they just go on to do like their own things. Like, okay, here, let's see. Desired to be a priest, left the seminary because of alleged relationship. So, bro, deadass grew up to be a priest. Right, ever since he was young, like that's what he was in. Like I think they said that his family was like they were really deep into the religion, which caused him, you know, to want to become a priest. But like his carnal matter, or I guess his carnal desires didn't let him be that, you know, didn't let him be a priest. So then he ended up leaving. Or he got kicked out. Then he joined another Dominican ministry, but left because they didn't like what they were teaching. So he was like, "Yeah, you guys are bullshit. Let me get out of here." Wrote Bible of Liberty at Julie. Do I know what the Bible of Liberty is? No, I don't. Was confiscated 1 hour. Oh yeah. So he wrote this text, the Bible of Liberty. He wrote this text, and then 1 hour later, bro was arrested and put in prison. A couple copies got out, but it was enough copies for people to know, to people to know, like people know what he was writing about. Was confiscated 1 hour later. Numerous copies were successfully distributed and was incarcerated. Most sensational example of Christian revolutionary. As you can see, I didn't finish the notes. And then this dude, France Barden. Man, really interesting stories, man. Really interesting stories. To me, it's also really interesting how passionate they are about, the things that they're learning about. So I think like France Barden, there was a couple of times where he was actually doing like rituals and stuff, and he wrote about it. He wrote about it, and he I guess lived to tell the tale. And there was a story. I think it was France Barden. There was a story about how he summoned him and this other girl, or maybe that was Levy. I'm not too sure. It was one of the two. It was Barden or Levy. He met this girl. I'm not sure where. Let's see. Does it say? Oh no, maybe it wasn't Barden. Maybe it was Levy. Oh no, someone met this girl, and then he did this ritual. And he basically did this ritual. He did it for his own purpose, but this girl also did it. She wanted to know something too. So they summoned this guy in because apparently he would give them the answers. And what the occultist wanted to know is I think it was what happened to his friend. And then the guy answered, the guy that they summoned, he was die. He was he's dead. He's dead. And then the same thing for whatever the girl asked. He was he's dead. But the guy, apparently the occultist, he whipped out a sword on the guy, and then the guy disappeared. But then when he dropped the sword, he reappeared. I don't know, bro. It's just crazy ass shit. It's wild ass shit, and I just think that's very interesting. And man, I've been having this thought for the past 2 days, and I keep forgetting to mention it. But man, I think the world is gonna go back, or I don't know about go back, right? Because I can't really. I was never alive back then, so I really don't know the reality of back then. But the way that history makes it sound is that, man, in the past, we were highly spiritual people. We were highly spiritual, right? We believed a lot more in the spirit realm. It was basically integrated into our daily life. It was like one in one, right? So I think in the future, just based off of the numbers that I've seen in some of these YouTube videos, a lot of people are getting educated in these topics. A lot of people are getting educated in these topics. And where do you think that's gonna go? Where do you think that's gonna go if all these people are getting educated in these topics? That we're gonna come back to a more spiritual society. At least that's the way that I think about it, right? Because if a lot of people are learning about those things, then it's kind of opening up the gates again. It's opening up the gates for the possibilities of more spiritual and I guess astral things to happen. And as we've seen with these CIA documents and just famous people and powerful people around the world, they've always practiced this. Maybe not always, right? But we've seen a lot of these unclassified CIA documents saying how they practice remote viewing, how they practice manifestation, and there's several studies about it. And this and that, right? There's a lot of things that they look into because they know that there's some truth to it. And even if there isn't no good examples, they're gonna want to look into it anyways. Because why would people dedicate their whole lives to it? And how would they become so renowned? And bro, And the video that I was watching yesterday in the tournament, they had Jesus. I didn't finish the video.
First, right?
I didn't finish the video. I was like almost done. But they had Jesus. They had Jesus, bro. They had Jesus on there. Jesus is arguably the most famous occultist. He is. He is, and it's wild, man. It's wild. It's wild. It's wild. You can look into that. This is a really good video. It's very long. It's 2 hours. It's by Richard Rausch. Jesus was cool. He was cool. Who is the best occultist ranked, featuring American Esoteric and Richard Rausch. Jesus was awesome, man. He was an awesome ass dude. It's like the way that I think of Jesus is that he's the closest example of like pure light. Of pure light in human form, right? In human form. Cause obviously like he was the closest. He was the closest. If not, he was it. You know? He was it. And no one else can say that. No one else can say that. Yeah, a little... Let's see if I remember the name of everybody. It was Jesus. It was... Yeah, never mind. I don't remember. Let me just see who won. Damn, Hermes won. I mean, that's not really surprising. That's not really surprising because Hermes basically, he set the foundation. This is Hermes, right?
And as every Renaissance does, you grab the gold from the past and you figure out how.
He definitely, well, Greek, Armenian, Russian, French. There's probably a couple more.
Because I'm wondering if the
English as
secret
well,
doctrine or something was translated in a language that he could have read. There could have been, you never know. But I like he's picking up on Atlantean elements that were like, you know.
I think he definitely read it because Ouspensky read it and mentioned it.
Oh yeah, man. And then if you go down this rabbit hole, you'll eventually get to go down like the Atlantean and all these other rabbit holes. Man, it's super interesting. Super interesting. This all ties together. Like, really. It really all ties together. Don't go out there practicing magic though. I guess if you really want to, you could, but like me, I'm not personally. Just don't do it for bad, I guess, but I wouldn't do it regardless. I feel like that's just another realm that you do not want to mess with. It is very interesting though. It is very interesting. Aleister Crowley, I think, is the one who introduced me to like actually doing magic, which is kind of, well, not actually doing it, but you know, like he was actually practicing. It was actually practicing magic while he was still alive. And man, you see, if you guys don't know what happened to Aleister Crowley, he just went into a dark hole. Eventually, I don't know, passed away of what. I think he basically just went like crazy. He went crazy, but he was doing some nut shit. I don't think we've ever watched on the channel a video on Aleister Crowley. Maybe we should do that today, because I think that's a really good intro for a lot of people, because it's never the interesting people. Oh yeah, I think the only like really like occult teacher that I have on the channel is Helena Blavatsky. It's Helena Blavatsky, and well, we have this, but I don't know. I don't really like watching Frillium anymore. We don't have. Damn, bro. I remember when I used to make these kind of videos, bro. Yeah, I think we should start a series where we learn about like these occult teachers or these prominent occult figures. So yeah, let's start with, how's the game going? 0-0 still, damn. Alright, let's start with Aleister Crowley. If you guys have never watched the or know who Aleister Crowley is, you're in for a treat, man. You're in for a treat. Very interesting fellow right here. And you're gonna see why. Here, let's find a good video. Also, Crowley, the man who spoke to demons. I mean, this has 1 million views, so it's pretty good. Oh, this is a girl that I was talking about yesterday, Angela's Synopsium. She has like a video on every single person. It's kind of wild. We would watch this video by Camp Gagnon, but it's like very long. Most evil man ever, the man who spoke to demons. even Sneeko was watching fucking Aleister Crowley videos. The Beast of Prophet. Man. It's kind of funny how like Sneeko was watching that kind of stuff, but I feel like he was only watching it because of Zerka. Alright, we're gonna watch this one. It's a 13-minute video, so it shouldn't be that long. Let me just go get something to munch on real quick and I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. Oh, fuck. Hold up, guys. Let me eat this real quick. Alright, this video is Aleister Crowley, the man who spoke to demons by Hochelaga. Interesting name. Alright, let's go. Oh man. Wait, hold up. There we go.
This is a story about a man who spoke to demons. A man who went by many names in his life. The Beast, Brother Perbduro, or Ankh Ufin Kosu. He was an occultist, a student of the dark arts and supernatural phenomena, founder of the religion Thelema, and a publisher of books on magic and the paranormal. His followers regarded him as a visionary and a champion of free expression in a closed-minded society. His enemies branded him as insane and capable of great cruelty to those around him. The devil incarnate, or a troubled visionary that was simply misunderstood. It's all a matter of perspective. This is the story of Aleister Crowley. Aleister Crowley was born on the 12th of October 1875 in the sleepy English town of Leamington Spa. His father, Edward Crowley, was a preacher and belonged to a fringe Christian sect known as the Plymouth Brethren. They took a radical fundamentalist view to the Bible, meaning that whatever was written down was meant to be taken literally. At its worst, this included the subjugation of women and the persecution of homosexuals. His preaching career was cut short, however, when in 1886 he died of tongue cancer. From a young age, Aleister was sent to a number of boarding schools. He was a strange boy, preferring his...
Bro, he doesn't even look like a bad kid. Actually, no, he kind of does. He kind of does. He looks like a bully.
His own company instead of playing with other children. As a result, he was often subject to bullying, sometimes by his teachers. This troubled child grew into a troubled teenager. He began to question his strict Christian upbringing and enjoyed...
I mean, makes sense, right? If you're bullied as a kid, you're definitely gonna have some resentment towards people.
...pointing out inconsistencies in the Bible. At the same time, he was often caught smoking, drinking, and even visiting prostitutes. Horrified, his mother would nickname him the Beast, which is a monster from the book of Revelation.
Wait, was he doing things with these prostitutes, or was he just like talking to them? Because if he's just talking to them, I guess that's not bad, right? And I guess the drinking and smoking, that's not that crazy either, I guess, for whatever time period this is, England. I don't think that's that crazy. But I guess coming from a religious household, he would, I guess, earn the name the Beast.
A nickname that Crowley would soon delight in. In 1895, at the age of 19, Aleister enrolled at the University of Cambridge to study English literature. He developed a love for chess and romantic poetry, reading the works of Lord Byron, Edward John Trelawney, and Percy Shelley. It was during this time when Aleister developed an unexplainable attraction to a fellow student, Herbert Charles Pollitt.
Hey,
The
yo!
feeling was mutual, and the two entered a brief and passionate relationship. Their commitment to one another was soon to end, for Alistair developed a deeper love, the occult. Spending days at a time in old dusty libraries, Alistair discovered books of a more mystical nature. It had started innocently, with religious texts from around the world, but he soon delved into darker material. Works like the Lesser Key of Solomon, a 16th century grimoire of spells, rituals, and evil spirits.
You know what I think does it for these people? Is that it's so taboo to do these things and do these rituals and well, one, you might not even believe in it. And two, it's like you have this feeling that you shouldn't do it, which gives them reason to do it even more. And it's like Crowley's already gay. He already wants to do everything that he's not supposed to do. So he's gonna be like, why shouldn't I do this? They think being gay is bad. They think doing this is bad too. Maybe it's not that bad.
His morbid curiosity with magic and the dark arts evolved into an obsession, and he soon decided to devote his life to occultism. Having left Cambridge, failing to finish his degree, Alistair was able to live off the money that he'd inherited from his father. From a young age, Alistair was extraordinarily wealthy. This allowed him to
lucky ass bastard. What does that do? I forgot what he said.
travel around the world and pursue his expensive hobbies, chief among which was mountain climbing, something he gained recognition for among mountaineering circles. But Crowley was keen to progress his occult education. In November 1898, he was introduced to the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn. The group believed to possess ancient knowledge. They studied esoteric teachings, medieval Jewish Kabbalah, and performed magical ceremonies, which included ritualistic drug-taking. Members of this group included Arthur Conan Doyle, the author of Sherlock Holmes. Adopting the name Brother Perbduro, Alistair impressed all those around him, displaying an extensive knowledge of occult literature. As a result, he quickly rose through the ranks.
And you know what's crazy? I think the person or the people that go farthest in these circles are either the ones who actually have something to... I think the ones that have actually something to show with their practices, or the ones who know the most.
But his roguish lifestyle of excessive drug-taking and bisexuality made him a controversial figure and led to a number of feuds with fellow initiates. Those around him spoke of his, quote, unappeasable desire to control people, and that he also had, quote, a tendency to quarrel savagely with anyone who disagreed with him. Many fellow members refused him from ascending further ranks. A schism soon developed within the order, which led to Alistair leaving shortly after.
Yeah, the Order of the Golden Dawn, that's a whole nother thing you guys can look into. That's like a whole nother different rabbit hole. I do think that that's the most popular, or not, maybe not most popular, but the most known group or order.
Disillusioned with the order and its rigid hierarchy, Crowley retreated to travelling. With the funds his father had left him, he journeyed to Japan, China, Sri Lanka, and India. He continued to climb, and even joined an early expedition to climb the second highest peak on Earth, K2. During his travels, he was introduced to...
he's living life though. I can't blame him. Like all that gay sex shit. Like fuck that, right? Fuck that. But man, he's like over here like traveling with daddy's money, of course. So it's kind of like he has it kind of easy there. I guess, which is why, like, another reason why his path strayed. He was just meant to be this way, really. But I feel like that's also a reason why his path strayed, because everything, it was easy for him. It was easy. It was too easy. I feel like he never battled with himself in a way.
Eastern philosophy.
But yeah, he's living. He's like traveling in all these places.
On Earth, K2.
Alright, we didn't need to see that again.
He was introduced to Eastern philosophy. He studied the teachings of Taoism and Buddhism, as well as practicing yoga. He decided to include various hard drugs into his curriculum, like hashish, opium, and certain hallucinogenic substances. In 1902, at the age of 29, Alistair found himself in Paris. There he met a woman named Rose Edith Kelly, who was also interested in the occult. Although she was initially betrothed to someone else, the two had an affair and swiftly got married. For their honeymoon, they decided to go to Egypt. As with all things Alistair did, this trip would prove to be far from normal. In usual Crowley fashion, he set up a shrine in their hotel suite and began recounting spells and incantations invoking the various Egyptian gods. What happened next is Crowley's later recollection. The story goes that his wife, Rose, suddenly fell faint and became unresponsive. All she could murmur were the words, "They are waiting for you."
Bro tried using her as a sacrifice.
They, as it turned out, was the god Horus. As if led by a spirit, his wife took him to a nearby museum, all the way to a stele dating to the reign of Pharaoh Hatshepsut. Looking down at the exhibit number, it read 666.
Yo! That's that ass crazy. Man. I would be scared of shit. I would never be doing that shit in the first place. But imagine you do this and it takes you to 666. Crowley probably loved that shit. He was probably like, oh, yes, rubbing his hands together. He's like, yes, this is what I wanted. But, man, this scared the shit out of me.
The number of the beast. Suddenly, a voice from the depth of Alistair's mind called out. It called itself Aiwas, and it claimed to be an angel. It told Alistair to write down all that it said into a book. For the next 3 days, Aiwas dictated its words to Alistair, who dutifully wrote them all down. What he was left with was a small tome entitled The Book of the Law. Opening the first pages, the book was replete with spells, as well as discourses and philosophy. A key teaching of this book was that humanity would soon enter a new age, the Aeon of Horus. In this time, mankind will overthrow Christianity and finally take control of their own destiny.
He wasn't wrong. He wasn't wrong. He deadass wasn't wrong. We were in the Age of Horus. Aren't we still in the Age of Horus? Here, let me look that up. Are we still in the Age of Horus? Whether you mean the Aeon, yeah, I guess that's what it meant. Whether you mean the Aeon of Horus from the occult philosophy or the Horus heresy from what the fuck? Just know we are not currently in the Age of Horus. In occult philosophy, the Lema, the Aeon of Horus follows the Aeon of Isis, the mother of the Aeon of Horus follows the Aeons of Isis and Osiris. According to Thelemic tradition, this era began in 1904 and is symbolized by the child god Horus. It focuses on self-realization, individualism, and the pursuit of one's true will. However, many modern esoteric practitioners and astrologers consider this era to be a long transitional phase, leading into or overlapping with the Age of Aquarius. We are entering the Age of Aquarius. That's the age that we're entering now. And man, he's right. He was right. He's right. Bro, Aleister Crowley was right. And I think that he was the only person that we heard this from. It was only from Aleister Crowley, the Thelemite. So everything that he was doing, he was on some freak shit. He was doing some crazy like sex magic or whatever, or blood rituals. I don't know how deep his lore gets. I don't even know if that's true that he was. I think he was doing sex magic, but I don't know if he was doing like blood rituals. But I wouldn't put it past him. But I guess we got this out of it. We got this out of one of his rituals. We got this. So, which was, I guess, pretty cool to know. Well, obviously there were doubters in 1904 whenever he did this. But or maybe 1904, but whenever he found this out, there were a lot of doubters, and only now in the future we can be like, wow, he's absolutely right, because holy shit, the world got fucked up. I feel like the pendulum is finally swinging back from this age. So crazy, dude. It's crazy.
To achieve this goal,
oh shit,
there was but one.
Hold up.
And finally take control of their own destiny. To achieve this goal, there was but one simple commandment. Quote, "Do what thou wilt, every man and woman is a star, the word of sin is restriction. In other words, whatever you feel like doing, go and do it, regardless of popular opinion or conventional morality. Believing himself to be a reincarnation of an Egyptian prophet, Ankh-Ufin-Kosu, Crowley returned to London and founded a new religion. He called it Thelema, a Greek word meaning
Not gonna lie, that's a cool ass logo.
desire. It was based on the teachings found in the Book of the Law and promoted a life of hedonism and radical free will. It was a fusion of a number of religious traditions, mixing elements of Western occultism, Jewish Kabbalah, Theravada Buddhism.
Yo, why does this dude kind of look like Shane Gillis? I can imagine Shane Gillis in this same outfit, and I would believe it. I would believe if Shane Gillis is the next Aleister Crowley, I would believe that shit.
And yoga. To accompany spiritual practice, Crowley advocated the heavy use of psychedelics. In 1907, he founded his own secret order, the AA, believed to stand for Argentium Astrum, the Latin for Silver Star. Owing to Crowley's notoriety in occult circles, the AA quickly grew in number. Soon, he released a periodical for its members, the Equinox. During this time, it was rumoured that Aiwass had contacted him again and instructed him to write more holy books. Things were going well for Aleister and his nascent movement, but nothing good lasts forever.
Facts.
Now a leader of his own religion, with a philosophy to justify his own behaviour, Crowley enjoyed a lavish lifestyle. He continued to travel, take increasingly heavier drugs, and have affairs with both women and men. At the same time, his marriage to Rose began to break down. Despite his own scandalous lifestyle, he became frustrated that his wife had developed alcoholism. In 1909, he divorced her on the grounds of adultery. After their marriage fell apart, Rose's addiction worsened and she was admitted into an institution in 1911. Eventually, all the travelling, drug-taking and libertinism had caught up with Crowley. The inheritance left by his father had now dried up. What's more, his addiction to drugs had severely worsened. To treat his asthma, his doctor prescribed him heroin, to which he
Oh my god, damn. It was that easy? It was that easy? Bro, I technically have asthma. I was diagnosed with asthma, I think back in, like, 2015. I don't know exactly when. I think it was like 10 years ago. I got diagnosed with asthma. You're telling me if I was born in the 1900s, or mid-19... whatever, I could have got prescribed heroin? Man, sign me up, bro. I was born in the wrong age.
soon developed a crippling dependency. During the outbreak of World War I, he was living in New York, gaining a small income through writing short stories and articles. He even had a brief stint working as a double agent for British intelligence. After the war, his attempts at spreading Thelema in the United States were largely unsuccessful, and it soon came time for Aleister to leave. In 1920, Crowley rented a small house in Sicily, bringing some of his most dedicated followers with him. There they set up the Abbey of Thelema, and soon began to accept fresh disciples in the hopes of advancing the Aeon of Horus. The Abbey of Thelema was designed to be a utopia, free from all the restrictions that plagued modern life. Aside from a few rituals to the sun god Ra and a weekly Gnostic mass, most of the members were left to pursue their own interests.
So you're telling me Aleister Crowley was basically a practicing Gnostic? He was Gnostic? Is that what you're telling me?
Crowley took a number of lovers and ran the commune as its de facto leader. With the responsibility-free lifestyle advocated by Thelema, the abbey quickly became dilapidated. It was full of litter and human waste, and stray dogs would often roam the building. In these unsanitary conditions, one of the acolytes died of mysterious causes.
Bro.
Newspapers got wind of this and began to speculate that he'd been a part of a blood ritual. Not long after, Aleister gained infamy, and the myth of Mr. Crowley emerged. British periodical John Bull described him as, quote, the wickedest man in the world. Others accused him of worshipping Satan. Some believed that he actually was Satan. The Abbey of Thelema gradually fell apart, and all the members eventually left the commune. The abandoned building remains there today, although it's now vandalised and overgrown. For
Wow.
modern practitioners of Thelema, it remains a site of pilgrimage, a memory of something that could have been. Disgraced and destitute, Crowley returned to England and retired from public life. In 1929, he soon remarried to a woman named Maria Teresa Sanchez, although he continued to have the occasional affair every now and then. He spent the remainder of his days in the seaside town of Hastings. There, he wrote a few more books and offered students tuition for his magic. His final publication was the Book of Thoth, a tarot deck that remains popular today. In 1947, Aleister
what?
Crowley students tuition for his magic. His final publication was the Book of Thoth, a tarot deck that remains popular today. In 1947, Aleister Crowley developed chronic bronchitis and died peacefully.
Wait, am I tripping, or does that basically mean that he created the tarot deck? Who created the tarot cards? Tarot cards are not, but rather evolved over time. Telling luxury playing cards reinterpreted as tools for divination. Oh. Okay, never mind, I'm tripping. I guess he just made that version.
In his sleep at the age of 72. There's much that can be said about the life of Aleister Crowley, but perhaps a 1915 Vanity Fair article put it best. Quote, "A legend has been built around his name. He is a myth. No other man has so many strange tales told about him." Crowley himself once wrote that, quote, 1,000 years from now, the world will be sitting in the sunset of Crowleyanity. We've yet to see this outcome, so you have to wait until the year 2947. His legacy can be seen in strange and surprising places. Perhaps his largest influence has been in the revival of pagan practices. Religions like Wicca have increased in numbers from the 20th century well into the modern era. Many of Crowley's books and teachings have been widely published and remain essential reads for all those interested in magic and the dark arts. One of his strangest legacies has been in the world of music. Crowley has since become an icon of a number of countercultural movements, especially in punk and rock and roll. He can be found here on the cover of the Beatles' 1967 album, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band.
Wait, isn't there like some like conspiracy theories on the Beatles? Like, weren't they pretty much like propped up in like industry plants or something? Or they were like some kind of like government asset? I think I heard that before. And it is kind of weird to have it is weird to have Aleister Crowley on your album cover. That is weird. That is weird. It's kind of crazy.
Crowley's words have made their way into the lyrics of songs by David Bowie, Ozzy Osbourne, and Iron Maiden. Led Zeppelin guitarist Jimmy Page even bought Crowley's Scottish manor, Boleskine Lodge, but soon left the
Wow, they're all demonic, bro. They're all demonic.
property after claiming that it was haunted. But for all his fame, are we guilty of glorifying the life of Aleister Crowley? By all accounts, he was not.
Why was he signing with the Jerusalem Cross? This is the Jerusalem Cross, right? Why is he signing with it?
Are we guilty of glorifying the life of Aleister Crowley? By all accounts, he was not a likeable man. Many biographers recount his exceptional cruelty and ability to alienate those close to him. His conversations with spirits and demons could be a symptom of an underlying mental health condition, exacerbated by his untreated addiction to alcohol and drugs. Today, we might throw all kinds of medical diagnoses at him: sociopathy, narcissistic personality disorder, disassociation, and drug-induced schizophrenia. Genius, insane, visionary, fraud, freethinker, cult leader. Perhaps he's all of these things, or none of them. However you choose to remember him, Aleister Crowley will be remembered, nonetheless.
It's a freaky ass picture to put, man.
Hey, thanks for watching this video.
That's a freaky ass last picture to put. Survival guide to biblical what? I was just watching this. How the ancient invocation of the headless god became Aleister Crowley. Ooh, Esoterica makes really good videos if you guys never watched him. The alien deity. The life of magic of Aleister Crowley. Witchy history. Man, that's why you can't trust bitches, bro. Like they just be on some witch shit. They all want to be witches. They all want to bend reality to what they want. Witches, bitches. Like, there's a reason why it rhymes. Fascinating history of clowns. I just thought this was like a really interesting looking like thumbnail and stuff. Have you guys ever heard of the theory of what's it called? The jesters? No. What's it called? Oh, Nephilim are clowns. Nephilims are clowns theory. That's a really good one. Let's watch this video on the Oliver Tree. On the Oliver Tree situation. RP Oliver Tree. This is Oliver Tree was not who you think by Didi Got a Podcast. Let's see. I like Didi a lot. I don't really check what Didi like says. I don't really like do much research. I usually just for the most part trust him, but you know, kind of trust him. I take it with a grain of salt, but I definitely do take in what he says, which sounds crazy. That was crazy to say, but yeah. Here, let's watch it. He makes really good videos.
If you are not yet a member of the Patreon,
go check out his Patreon.
Description,
Chad,
please consider
if you like his content. All right, so this Oliver Tree was not who you think by Didi Got a Podcast.
becoming a member.
Let me get some water. Ooh, it stinks over here. Wait, what happened?
As you will have access to many videos you cannot find here on YouTube.
Oh yeah, Didi Got a Podcast. Before we get into today's topic, I want to take you back to one of the biggest battles between a music superstar and a record label. In 1992, George Michael filed a lawsuit against Sony Music, arguing that his recording contract was so restrictive that it amounted to what he called quote-unquote professional slavery. Michael claimed Sony had too much control over his career, his music, and his future, while he had little control over how his work was marketed or promoted. He also alleged that Sony failed to properly support his 1990 album, Listen Without Prejudice Volume 1, after he chose to move away from the sex symbol image that had made him famous. At the heart of the case was a question that artists still ask today: who really owns the music, the creator or the corporation? Although George Michael ultimately lost the lawsuit in 1994, his fight became one of the most famous challenges to record label power in music history and sparked a larger conversation about artistic freedom, ownership, and control in the entertainment industry. Oliver Tree is the latest tragic example of a pattern we keep seeing in the music industry, and there is a long list of musicians who have made the same complaints over the years, except many of them met their demise not long after going public, exposing the industry. Welcome back to another episode of Didi Got a Podcast, and of course, I'm your host, Didi. I appreciate you all for tuning in as always. Please hit the like.
Yo, is that a real number? I never knew. How do you call these numbers? How do you call 1-800 numbers? Yeah, what the fuck? If you're calling within the US, just dial 1-800 within the... See, no, bro, but what you're not getting is that why is there letters? Numbers like 100 call work. Nice. To start with, North America is we don't start dialing with 0 normally called, so you'll probably talking about something like that, like 100 lawyer, which I just put off at the top of my head. Each digit on the phone has traditionally been associated with several letters. This comes from the days where interchanging dialing began, and those in charge wanted to let people dial in the same way they used to ask the operator for our number. So for example, please connect the whatever became dialing what? Thus dialing this number would have been a lawyer L, so it would be right, if I'm right, it would be 5. What? This convention has been would be 1-800-45. Okay, yeah, 5. Wait, is this a legit phone number? I can call Didi? You're telling me I can call Didi Got a Podcast right now? Hold up, let me try calling him. Let's see if it works. 1-800. Where's the D? 33 G O T A P O D C A S T. Wait. What's up, X Dixie? Bro, this is not a real fucking phone number. Didi, you fucking scammer. This is not a real phone number. No one has a long ass phone. Wait, what's that flash? Yo, wait. Hold up. What is that flash? Why is there a flash coming from my phone? Is it taking pictures of me? Is it taking pictures of the stream? Why'd it stop? Oh my god. Oh my god, wait, it dead ass stopped. Wait, why'd it do it twice and then stop? Yo, think, bro, every time you're using your phone, look, it only happens when it's on. Every time you're using your phone, your iPhone is taking pictures of you to see what you're looking at. I was calling Didi got a podcast right here, but he gave me way too long of a phone number, so he's fucking trolled me.
Like button on your way in, as it will help push the video into the algorithm. In today's episode, I want to talk about something that's not foreign to this channel at all, and that is Hollywood and the music industry. I want you to take a listen to what George Michael said in a 1994 interview about one of the most underrated tactics that the record labels like Sony use to...
No, not Diddy podcast. Not gonna lie though, when I first started watching Diddy, it's DD, like de, you know, like DD. Got a podcast, not Diddy. I guess it does sound like Diddy. That was my thing when I first started watching him. I was like, damn, it dead ass sounds like Diddy. It dead ass sounds like Diddy. I thought it was Diddy got a podcast.
Rap artists.
Well, it wasn't a perfect deal because all the way through, I've never signed a new deal. Signing a piece of paper which updates the deal.
They want you to oil up.
I mean, every single deal that I have done, every single renegotiation that I've done, with whether it be with CBS or Sony, has been an extension of the deal that I signed when I was 18 years old, which effectively bound me for, I think it was 10 albums actually altogether. It was 5 and an optional 5, which is, I mean, effectively the whole of my career, I would imagine.
Bro, I am not oiling up for Diddy. What are you talking about, Nick Stixie? I'm not oiling up for Diddy.
I've never been able to sign a piece of paper as a new deal. I've always been trying to update that deal that I did when I was 18. So I've always been held to that part of the deal that I signed when I was 18 years old. The other point I'd like to make is that people throw around the figures, these massive figures and massive amounts of money that I was supposedly given by Sony. Now, I will completely agree that they are massive amounts of money, and I'm fully aware that I'm in a business which pays amazing money. But CBS signed Wham in 1983. Everything that I have been given by Sony, whether it was in 1984, whether it was in 1988, 1990, they have never been giving me anything above the royalties that I had already earned.
That was even true of the £11 million
exactly.
they paid you in 1988.
Exactly. I was paid £11 million. I mean, I didn't realise I'd been paid £11 million. That's come out in the court case. But I was paid a huge amount of money, and I know it's a vast amount of money, in 1988. But I was never given anything that CBS or then Sony had not already collected from the public. They were always...
Ecstasy, you gotta chill, bro. You gotta chill. What do you mean you're oiling up cause Diddy? So you're telling me you're... So you're telling me your freaky ass, you're probably laying in bed right now. You're telling me your freaky ass is oiling up right now, getting your sheets all soaked up with baby oil because of Diddy?
In profit with me. No one ever did me a favour and said, here, George, here's 11 million pounds. You know, let's see if we make it back. They were always working in the black, as it were.
Have you ever noticed that the biggest artists are either on the younger side and or they joined when they were super young and impressionable? Michael Jackson is probably the most infamous example of exposing how evil Sony and the music industry actually is. And as we all know, MJ will lose his life shortly after. I've made an entire video on MJ as I believe he wasn't entirely innocent himself.
Oh my god, wait, that Michael Jackson video is really good. It's a really, really good video. I'm gonna have to rewatch it with you guys. I watched it personally, but we gotta rewatch it someday.
But that does not mean or take away the claims that he actually made about the music industry and the people who run it.
Facts.
Also, something else that should definitely not go unnoticed is that MJ was a child, as we all know, when he first joined the industry, as he was in it throughout his entire childhood, just like George Michael, except MJ was way younger than most. Prince is another example of someone that lost their life after exposing the industry. Guess how old he was? Even though he had been making music since he was 7 years old, when he actually signed a deal to a major record label, he ironically was the exact same age as George Michael, 18 years old. How convenient.
Wow.
TLC, the Notorious B.I.G., and Tupac were all just 19 and 20 years old when they first signed. And one of the more recent examples would definitely have to go to someone we covered just a little bit over a year ago, Miss Angie Stone. For those of you that don't know that story, Miss Angie Stone, who's been in the industry for decades.
What do you mean, should I oil up with lotion? No, bro. No, just don't oil up at all. Just don't oil. Actually, you know what? Go to the kitchen, get some vegetable oil. Fuck it. Fuck it. If we're oiling up, we might as well go the whole way.
Had recently come out just months before she
Who the
passed
fuck is
away,
this?
claiming that she had hired attorneys to do a little bit of research into her contract and the money that she...
No, that's sticky. How do you know that's sticky? How do you even know vegetable oil is sticky? That means you've done it before. Cause I cooked. No. I caught you. You be oiling up with vegetable oil. You tried it at least once.
She had been making over the decades, and it turned out that the record label had allegedly, she wasn't saying alleged, been stealing money from her or taking money from her for years. So much money.
What do you mean I'm speaking from experience? No, you are.
In fact, that she claimed that the amount of money that she should have made by that point in time would have retired her 20 years prior. Well, not only did she go public and expose this on social media and announcing that she was going to be suing the record label, but she also announced that she had undergone some sort of random, weird, out of the blue illness that to this day she never got an explanation for.
They've taken pretty much everything. They've stolen, I won't say stolen, but they have taken all the monies that were due to me. They have basically absorbed in that company. And even though there's several class action lawsuits, people that were working on my behalf never even registered.
Bro, just please log in on the video. We're done.
All the songs that I've done, I'm only coming to find out they were not properly registered by the companies that I signed over to, people that were supposed to do their due diligence. So I'm truly a walking testimony that God has carried me all this time, because if you only knew how much money they have taken from me, how much they have stolen from me, monies that I'm supposed to be, I should have been able to retire 20 years ago with the money I've made, supposedly. But there are key people that have been driving the ships, and what they've been doing is improperly representing me, improperly stealing from me, taking things in their own hand, changing and switching lanes because they knew I didn't know that part. The devil was very, very, very particular in targeting me. But anyway, I was rushed to the hospital because I wasn't breathing so well. Came to find out I had what was bacterial blood infection that I had gotten when they stuck me with the needle. It had went into my bloodstream and caused a staph infection of the blood. Now, I didn't have a clue that there was a blood infection until they rushed me into ICU. I went into ICU and I went to use the restroom and I passed out in the restroom. My oxygen went all the way down. It rendered me basically unconscious. When I came back to, the nurses began to tell me that I was screaming for Jesus because when I went down, I'm sorry, I didn't know that. I didn't know what was happening. All I know is it was all of a sudden. And I began to praise God and call on his name because I knew biblically that if I was transitioning, I needed to be calling on Jesus.
Again, we've covered that a couple of times on the channel. I highly encourage you to go and check out those videos because there's a lot of weird things about what they claim to have happened. They claim that she got hit by an 18-wheeler, but there was actually a witness that was there that day that claimed that the story that the news or the media put out didn't exactly align with what she saw when she was there on the highway to actually help them. So once again, I encourage you all to go and check that out when you get a chance, because as we all know, Miss Angie Stone would then go on to lose her life. And it's also worth mentioning that Miss Angie Stone as well was just 17 years old when she signed her first record deal. And now we have Mr. Oliver Tree. He recently came out just months ago, just like Angie Stone did, and complained about his record label deal and
okay, so when are people gonna learn? See, the thing is, I've always like, or maybe this is just me personally, right? But you know, I'm into whatever I'm into, so I guess I'm more knowledgeable about these things. But I guess if you're an artist and you've only been an artist and you don't actually look into these situations, which you kind of assume that you would because you're going into this industry, so you should be aware of what goes on in this in the industry that you're heading into. You should be aware of these things. You should be aware, and you should be weary of signing any kind of record deals. Today, in today's age, you don't even gotta sign a record deal. Yes, it's going to be more work for you personally and your team. Yes, you're going to have to spend money, but it's essentially the same thing. You just got to hold yourself more accountable. And people just want, why would you sign a deal? Because you get the money up front. You get the money up front. Yes, for some reason you have to pay it back and this and that, and I don't know, right? I don't know how everyone contracts go, but you get the money up front and there's less risk, right? Because you're like, oh, okay, so I got whatever, 500 million. I don't know. That's insane. Never mind. That's insane. But you get 70 million. 70 million for, let's say, 7 years, 10 million each year. Boom. Maybe in like that, I can chill for my like last 4 years, and I can pay it back in 3 years. And you know, you start thinking like that instead of just grinding it out. Either way, you're gonna grind it out. So you might as well just be, what do you call it, independent. You might as well just be independent.
Accusing them of taking advantage of and controlling him and his music.
Just got word that my album is no longer coming out. Love You Madly, Hate You Badly is officially canceled, and I'm parting ways with Atlantic Records.
Damn.
Behind the scenes has been nothing short of a nightmare. I have no marketing budgets for music videos, no digital ad spend. Nobody really cares in the building, it seems like. I made a lot of money for Atlantic Records, and they don't seem to remember that. I have gotten no support. They forgot to ingest multiple songs into the system, which means the songs didn't come out. I had a Valentine's Day breakout song that didn't even get released because someone forgot to put it in. I don't really understand how that's possible. I've made them tens of millions of dollars, but they don't remember that. So, the music is owned by them. The remainder of the music will not be coming out. I will always continue to make music. Thank you for everyone who supported me. I can't wait to release more music at some point at a later time, but for now, there is nothing on the horizon. I'm so sorry, and I love you guys.
Damn.
Thank you.
Something else to note about Oliver Tree is that he became addicted to drugs and then began selling drugs during his young teen years after his cousin passed away at the young age of 13.
It's an experience that's changed your life. When I was 13, my cousin Wayne got spiral meningitis. Within a week, he became brain dead and died. After that moment, I was like, I could die at any time. And so I just wanted to take any moment on and try everything, which ultimately ended up me becoming a drug addict. I started selling drugs. I got kicked out of my home. I had an LSD trip where I actually watched my own funeral, and I had what's called a rebirth. I died, and I woke up the next day, and I realized I was still alive. I had an opportunity to play a big concert. And then music became my savior, my healing, my religion, and it gave me a second chance to take my addiction and become addicted to something that could actually save me and help other people in that process.
This is important because, as we've established several times on this channel in the past, record labels target young people who come from traumatized and or fatherless homes.
Very true.
Oh, and Oliver Tree also released his debut EP at the young age of 18 as well. But let me state for the record, just like MJ, George Michael, and the rest of these musicians, I don't argue that they most likely took the oath to join the music industry. I'm not arguing that they're not a culprit. However, I also believe that it's beyond obvious at this point that the record labels manipulate their artists into signing bad contracts because of desperation and ignorance. Many of them don't even realize how corrupted their situation is until they hire their own attorneys, attorneys that the record labels did not recommend themselves, which is a very common thing in the music industry, which is obviously a conflict of interest. And it's not until these artists hire their own attorneys outside of the music industry and they begin digging into the numbers and the fine print, and that's when they realize that they are broke and trapped in their contractual obligations for years to come. But as I stated before, none of these artists necessarily get a pass, and Oliver Tree was no different.
Bro, the industry, I always go back to what Ye said. The industry is so predatory, bro. It's so predatory, but it's like, what do you expect from these people with massive amounts of money? You can't expect these people to be good people, bro. They might come off as it when you're having the meeting with them, but man, trust me, they're trying to get theirs, bro. Everyone in the business, that's what business is. They're trying to get their best deal, and you're trying to get your best deal. And sometimes when you think you're getting your best deal, man, they have something that you have no idea about.
You will be able to see in just a moment, he had a series of videos that were extremely weird. We all are familiar with Pizzagate. That is to say that there are people that are powerful in politics and Hollywood and the music industry and outside of the industry as well that are behind the scenes that are into pedophile behavior. So either Oliver Tree was into exposing this in a very creative way, or Oliver Tree was actually into this and just found creative ways or very strategic ways to speak about it, as you'll see in these videos right here, which are very, very strange.
Hey, sir. Hey, little girl.
No te asustes. ¿Alguna vez has probado los dulces? Oh, no. Policía.
What do you want, amigo?
Mr. Pizza le está dando dulces a mi amiga Katie.
Pizza? What kind of pizza?
¿Qué?
Pineapple? Margarita?
No.
Broccoli, jalapeno popper, anchovy deluxe?
¿Eso existe?
Oh, yeah, you gotta try it. Pepperoni?
Sí.
That's the worst kind of pizza.
Sí, sí.
Yo.
Mr. Pizza, you're under arrest for giving candy to a kid.
Si puedes.
Come on, kid. You're my witness.
Si un adulto te dice, esto es nuestro secreto, no le digas a tus padres. Eres muy maduro para tu edad.
Eso suena, Mr.
Yeah, these videos, they're pretty crazy. And I guess if you know about Pizzagate, it's kind of bringing awareness, and maybe for its audience, it's kind of good. And I don't know. It's just, to me, what doesn't sit right is the aesthetic of it. Why is the aesthetic of it so, why is it like this? It's almost like contradictory. It definitely brings you in. It's definitely interesting. But was that the intent? I don't know. But also, what's really, really, really interesting is the audio, man. The audio, how it's in Spanish, but it's also in English. That's cool. That's interesting, but it's kind of scary too.
Pizza. O si Mr. Pizza te ofrece dulces, tarjetas de Roblox, o si un adulto te invita a su casa, tú nunca estés a solas con Mr. Pizza. Mr. Pizza te quiere comer, no.
Something else I want to state is that it's very commonly known that it's not until the artist passed away, like Michael Jackson, like XXXTentacion, DMX, Takeoff and the Migos, Whitney Houston, Prince, George Michael, Tupac, Biggie Smalls, and the list goes on. It's not until they pass away when it is that their music sees a spike that it hasn't seen either ever before or in a very long time.
And so when I die, I've set it up, my will is set up that when I pass, my family, no one's going to get a penny. If I have a wife or kids or anything, not getting a fucking penny. I'll get my kids through college. That's the agreement, but they're not going to be a silver spoon. They're taken care of because my dad worked on some stuff in the 2000s. When I die, all the money's going to go back to artists. So I've set up a foundation. It's called Dr. Oliver Tree's Art Grants for Baby Geniuses. And it's set up so that basically the interest generated from my music will take mostly that, but there's also room for other money because when I die, my art will continue to have residuals and probably be worth more than it is now.
And I'm mentioning this to say, I didn't really know, I wasn't very familiar, and I'm still not very familiar with Oliver Tree. But I will say I went to the store just the other day to buy some basketball shoes. And while I'm in the store, there's this song that's playing that's super catchy.
Life goes on and on and on. How much you want to bet is that song?
Catchy, and it was so catchy, in fact, that I actually Shazammed the song. And I had already been getting requests for like the past 2 days from you all to look into this Oliver Tree story. And it wasn't until I did it and I Shazammed the song, and it was a freaking song by Oliver Tree. Let me look it up. It's a song called Miss You by Oliver Tree. If you don't believe me, hopefully this shows here. Stop the screen and look at it. I'm not joking. I literally Shazammed this in real time just the other day. And I just thought it was interesting that I had never heard of this guy before. Don't know if I had ever heard his voice before in a song. Maybe I have in the past and I just don't remember. But it wasn't until he passed away all of a sudden his song is being played in retail and in shoe stores. You know, I just thought that was very interesting. I also want to give a shout out to the Fittest Flat Earther. He does great content. Please go and give him a follow. But this video in particular I thought was very interesting that he covered on Oliver Tree as well because of the way in which Oliver Tree passed away. As we know, Kobe Bryant, I've covered Kobe Bryant a couple of times on the channel. Obviously, I'm working on my Patreon video, still in the works, by the way, for those of you that are waiting. And we know that there was predictive programming with the Kobe Bryant helicopter accident years in advance. Well, I thought some of the things that this guy found on his channel was super interesting as well because he being Oliver Tree also passed away via a helicopter crash.
Poor Oliver Tree killed in a helicopter crash. Well, if you believe that, you're gonna want to watch this. First, in case you don't know, you know how Kobe died in a helicopter crash? Do you know they gave a remote control helicopter out at his last home game? And there was also a cartoon made of him crashing in a helicopter. Well, let me show you a scene from the show Seinfeld.
So anybody seen Firestorm? That's a hell of a picture. Yeah. Remember when they had the helicopter land on top of that car? Hey, come on. I haven't seen it yet.
See what the crash looked like? Kind of looks like it's on top of a car. And hey, what was that? That was from Seinfeld? Seinfeld with George Costanza. Well, that's Oliver Tree. And that's George Costanza. And
are we believing this? I don't know. I've seen, oh man, this is not the first time that I see this theory, man. It's not the first time I see this theory. I'm gonna have to look into it. Cause why was I seeing that Jaden Smith? People were commenting on this video. If you guys were here yesterday, I think I discussed this yesterday. I mentioned it. We didn't discuss it, but I mentioned it. That people were saying in my comments that Jaden Smith was actually XXXTentacion, and that Lucky. Who was Lucky? Lucky was Juice World. We're saying Lucky is Juice World and Jaden Smith was X. And now this dude is saying Joe Costanza is Oliver Tree.
Oliver Tree. And that's George Costanza. Oliver Tree. And that's George Costanza and Oliver Tree. And George Costanza and Oliver Tree. And George Costanza and Oliver Tree. And George Costanza and Oliver Tree. Let's see what else Oliver Tree has to say about working on another project as he's showing an exact scene from Seinfeld.
Y'all in the comment section, give me your thoughts on what you think about this. Do you think it's just a coincidence, weird timing? Because I remember when I did the Angie Stone video, I got a lot of pushback and people were saying, well, you don't understand. Celebrities can pass away just like other people. It doesn't have to always be a conspiracy. Until we actually looked into the inconsistencies of the Angie Stone story and the narrative that they were pushing to us, still to this day, by the way. And it's looking like there's some weird things going on with Oliver Tree as well. Y'all in the comment section to give me your thoughts, man. I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace.
Oh, wait, that was it? That was it? No way, bro. Man, I was into it. I was really into it. Dang, shout out Didi Got a Podcast, man. That was a good video. That was a good ass video. I ain't even gonna lie to you. Oh man, we got like I gotta dip. I really have like 20 minutes, but I'm gonna just dip now, guys. Alright guys, man. W stream. I'm gonna try to stream earlier for you guys if I can. If you guys remember, I am going on a trip soon, so expect that in the upcoming days. Oh man, expect that in the upcoming days. Hey guys, love y'all. Take care. Thank you for everyone who came out and watched, spend some time with me. Thank you for spending some time with me, and I love y'all. Take care. Bye.
Seasons changing, summer starts to leave, autumn falls on me, fall, winter, and spring.